Hey there people, so today I am giving you my Moonlord guide to the final boss of Terraria, which spawns automatically about a minute after defeating all 4 of the Celestial Towers, aka Pillars. Basically, that's the finale of the endgame lunar events in Terraria. I am for once recording this intro kind of after the fact because my gonzo guide approach of just doing the guide as I play it turned out a little bit chaotic because, of course, it actually happened after the guide that I produced last week on the Celestial Towers pillars. It was recorded immediately after that, so it's a little bit chaotic, but here's how it works. I decided ultimately to put it in the order it happened. First, I'm going to show you the boss fight itself, my actual boss fight. First time I ever fought the Moonlord. And then that'll include my arena. Actually, well, this kind of is my arena, but we'll get to that. That's about 2.5 minutes of the boss fight. Then I'll follow that with a quick about a minute of the details on how I did it. Then my usual, about a little over 8 minutes, my usual verbal diarrhea tutorial with every single detail about the fight, the Moonlord itself, his attacks, transformation, strategies, and approaches to fighting him, because there are different ways to do it, and of course the drops as well. One other thing I want to mention before we get onto it is that this is currently PC only content. This is since the 1.3 update for PC, but it should be coming to Xbox One, PS4, likely Nintendo Switch very soon. It's unclear whether Xbox 360 and PS3 will be getting it. iOS and Android should be getting it at a later date as well. So onwards, here comes my boss fight and so on. Okay, so this is now my guide to the Moonlord, and here he comes. My preparation basically was to build this really long platform. And I'm using my Scutlix minion, although a unicorn mount is more highly recommended. Because basically one approach is to stay ahead of him, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. Although it's not so good in terms of that part. And what I've done, having this big long platform, is that I can just outrun him, and I can beam back to my nurse, heal up, and do it all over again. That's essentially my approach. Now, if I was using a unicorn mount or something a little bit faster, I could probably get a little further out ahead. He will teleport wherever you go. He will not despawn. And basically he's got the 2 hands and the eye and the head, and you have to take those out. Each time you take one out, you're going to have one of these true Eye of Cthulhu's spawns. And so you want to kill those 3, the 2 hands and the eye in the head, around the same time ideally, because those things are invincible, the true eyes. And that's basically how you can do it. A ranged character is admittedly the easier choice, which I happen to be playing anyway. I really thought I was probably just going to lose that, but there are a few strategies. So how I did it, in my case, was a big long platform and a ranger character so that I could just stay out ahead of him. I used my Scutlix mount, which is not the fastest mount. You can use a unicorn, which is going to be faster. Stay out ahead of him with the extra speed, or you can set up asphalt and run like heck and basically run and gun. That's one approach. Another approach is that you can create like a little building, have all your healing stuff, you know, a little bit of honey, a little pool of honey, and a heart lantern, and maybe a campfire nearby, that kind of thing, to help your regeneration, and have basically something like just a little building with ceiling and walls, because most of the Moonlord's attacks will not go through blocks, most of them. And so you can do that, especially with a melee character. You can sit inside an enclosed area with good regeneration, and you can use particularly this solar eruption, which I got from the solar pillar before. So besides defeating the 4 celestial towers or pillars, you can also summon the Moonlord by using a celestial sigil, which is obtained by basically fighting the towers anyway. You can use the various fragments. Do I have any left here? No. Oh yeah, I have some stardust fragments. So the fragments from the 4 pillars, enough of each of them, you can create a celestial sigil and summon the Moonlord manually and fight it that way, and farm it that way. But again, the Moonlord will only despawn if you die. Moonlord will not despawn if you run. He will teleport to your location, and you will still have to fight him. So there's no escape except for death. You must defeat both hands and the head before the core is exposed and can be attacked. The hands and the head, when defeated, become these little grabby things, and they deal contact damage, melee damage if you touch them, so be careful about that. The Moonlord has several powerful attacks. The hand eyes, there are eyes on each hand and one on the forehead. The hand eyes spawn phantasmal spheres in a line, which then explode. If the player is far away, they will charge the player. Oops. Catherine always wandering in the teleporter. But anyway, yeah, so those will explode on contact or explode after a certain amount of time, and either way they will try to kill you. However, the phantasmal spheres cannot travel more than about a 30-degree upward angle, so one way of dodging them is simply to get above them. And you will also have phantasmal eyes spawned by the hand eyes, which move in all directions and home in on the player, but again cannot travel very well at upward angles, so another case of getting above them as being a good approach to dodge them. Basically swerve up to dodge. There, my blood moon is over, so now you'll have less annoying stuff in the background while I explain the rest. So, the hand eyes further will occasionally fire 2 phantasmal bolts, which pass through blocks. Again, most of the attacks do not pass through blocks, but those ones do. So you'll want to swerve out of the way of them. I believe they can fire upwards, however. When attached, the eye on the head will open and occasionally will open and fire a phantasmal death ray, which is the Moonlord's most powerful attack. After the death ray, the head eye will also fire 2 phantasmal bolts similar to those from the hand, and then the eye will close. So the mouth periodically, besides the hands and eyes, there is a mouth, and the mouth will shoot out this tentacle to try to grab the player. Again, tentacle does pass through blocks. If it successfully grabs you, it will spawn these moon leech clots, these little enemies basically, which travel back towards the Moonlord and will return 1,000 health to the Moonlord parts if they're not killed before they get back there. So if you get grabbed by the tentacle, try not to get grabbed by the tentacle, but if you do, try to kill those before they, give them some health. So, as far as strategies, vampire knives and specter armor with the hood are not generally recommended because there is a moon bite debuff which takes place when the tentacle grabs you. You are debuffed with moon bite, and your healing abilities are basically null and void as long as that's in effect. Defeating either of the hands or the head spawns an invincible True Eye of Cthulhu, which has the 4 attacks, the same attacks actually, the phantasmal eyes. It will instead do 6 phantasmal spheres in a circle, which will travel towards the player, and 2 phantasmal bolts. It does also do a smaller, less powerful phantasmal death ray, but it's not nearly as much of a concern, doesn't do nearly as much damage. So best strategy generally is to try to feed both hands and the head as close together as possible so that those invincible True Eye of Cthulhu enemies, which you cannot kill, will be spawned about the same time, and you won't have to deal with them for as long throughout the fight. So again, there's a few strategies as far as what you can do. So one approach is to do 2 rows, one row of solid blocks and another row of either solid blocks or platforms, and to run through that using something like this solar eruption, which I got from the solar pillar fragment, which will actually fire through blocks. As you can see, it goes right through blocks. So you can use solid blocks and use that or something like that that fires through blocks. That's one approach. You can also just make yourself a little box if you've got powerful defensive armor and some good regeneration capabilities, and again, just fire through the box, because the Moonlords, a lot of the attacks will not come through the box. So if you can withstand the other ones, then you can just do that. Or you can do what I did and make a very long, basically, sky bridge and use either asphalt, which I did not use, with some boots, or a blessed apple with a unicorn mount is the best recommended strategy. Or in my case, I actually just used my Scutlix mount, which was not as fast, but it did the job well enough, and I managed to do it with that. So as far as drops, the Moonlord's guaranteed drops are the portal gun, which, let's see, did I pick that up? Yep, got my portal gun. So it's just like, you know, the gun in the game Portal. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but anyway, presumably you can make portals with it. And that's a guaranteed drop. You'll get 70 to 90 luminite, which is the ore here. I got 76, so I can make some luminite bars, and with the fragments, I can use that to make some end game armor, basically. And there are probably a few other things you can make with luminite. And also, you will get 5 to 15 greater healing potions, whoop-de-doo. And you will also always get 1 of 9 powerful weapons. So there's 3 melee weapons, 2 ranged weapons, 2 magic weapons, and 2 summoner sentry weapons. So the 3 melee weapons are, of course, the Meowmere and Starwrath swords, or the Terrarian yo-yo. So those are basically the most powerful swords and the most powerful yo-yo. Ranged weapons, the SDMG, which is the little Delphin gun, and the Celebration, which is explosive firing cannon, basically. And I should have one of those. Did I not pick it up? Is that my problem? Did I miss something over there? Oh no, I got the Rainbow Crystal Staff. So that's one of the magic weapons. Oh no, that's one of the summoner weapons. So SDMG is the fastest gun, basically. The Celebration, again, it fires explosives. The magic weapons are the Last Prism and the Lunar Flare, both very powerful magic weapons. Summoner weapons, the Rainbow Crystal, and the Lunar Portal Staffs. So, Rainbow Crystal. I now have this Rainbow Crystal, which I assume is very, very powerful. But, of course, there are no enemies near me, so... so there's that. I got a summoner weapon. I'm a ranged character, but whatever. Now, other things that can be dropped from the Moonlord are the Moonlord Mask, Trophy, and if you're an expert, of course, you will always get a treasure bag. Okay, and here's the outro. So, hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and don't worry, this is not the end. For my videos on Terraria, I have plenty more that I'll be doing, so stay tuned, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.